Live, local, late breaking. This is KOCO 5 News at 10.
A second manhunt for an armed robbery suspect in Logan County now cold. Law enforcement still looking for Lawrence Lewis. He's wanted for allegedly robbing a dollar store employee at gunpoint, stealing her car, and leading troopers on a chase that ended on I-35. KOCO's Paris Jones is live with details on the frantic search for that suspect.
New video from the Guthrie News page today as authorities search on land, on water, and in the air for this man, 30-year-old Lawrence Lewis, but with no luck. Authorities say they got a tip this morning that Lewis may have been near Guthrie Lake. KOCO 5 was on scene last night, moments after police say Lewis led them on an intense high-speed chase ending on I-35 in Guthrie. They say at one point he went over 100 miles per hour going in the wrong direction. When the chase ended, police took this woman, Alexis Nugent, into custody, but Lewis managed to get away on foot. Tonight, we're learning more about those two. Authorities say Lewis and Nugent started their crime spree in North Texas when they stole a vehicle before driving to Oklahoma. Officials say they stole another car in Ardmore, then committed an armed robbery in Deer Creek. Saturday night is when the pair allegedly went to a dollar store near Waterloo and Coltrane and robbed an employee at gunpoint, getting away with her car and purse. And you should call 911 if you have any information on Lewis's whereabouts. Tonight, Nugent is in the Oklahoma County Jail. Mecca, back to you.
Paris, thank you. Developing now, Beggs officials are investigating a triple homicide. 3 people were found dead at a home yesterday afternoon. Deputies say a family member found a mother, father, and adult daughter shot to death. Right now, the victims' names have not yet been released. Deputies have not said if they have a suspect. And today, a motorcycle ride to support a young Cleveland County girl. In June, we told you about 7-year-old Haley, who was mauled by dogs and suffered several injuries. The sheriff's office put on the ride to raise money for her medical bills. You might remember she was bitten in the face, back, arms, and leg. The 7-year-old having to get surgery to recover.
When you see something like this happen, it's just hard to deal with. And for us to be able to give back, helps with that healing process.
And give back they did. Tonight, they've raised more than $5,000 and counting. They held an auction and a raffle, all to help little Haley on her road to recovery. And we certainly wish her well. Well, sunny and hot to end your weekend. Gorgeous outside right now. Meteorologist Jonathan Condor in tonight. And Jonathan, the radar is pretty quiet right now.
Pretty quiet for most of Oklahoma, but there are some storms out there way off to our west. A little area there between Guymon and Amarillo. That would be our next rain chance later tonight. We had a few thunderstorms this evening up in northwestern Oklahoma. There's a time lapse last hour. Any rain out there is really kind of falling apart. So dry for most now. Let's talk about the evening. Take a look at, or the overnight. Take a look at predictor here. Those showers and thunderstorms off to the west. They will weaken as they come into western Oklahoma. The chance of storms in northwestern Oklahoma tonight, very low, about a 20% chance. It's 79 right now. A little bit of humidity. Tomorrow morning, clear, mild, light breeze, a low of only 70 degrees. Now, storm chances, they're going up this week for OKC. There is some heat relief. How does that rain linger into your weekend? You got to change your plans. Updated forecast is coming up.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you. Tonight, police are investigating a shooting near Northwest 23rd and Penn. This was breaking news last night at 10. Police say someone called 911 to report shots fired. Officers found one victim. That person was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No arrests have been made so far, but the suspect was seen driving a brown car. Also, police are looking for a suspect in a deadly shooting. It happened early this morning in Altus. Tonight, police are searching for 28-year-old Quamel Massenberg. Police found the victim with multiple gunshot wounds. Right now, his name is not being released, but if you have any information on Quamel's whereabouts, you're asked to call Altus Police right away. Oklahoma lawmakers home for a few weeks before heading back to Washington. KOCO's Zach Rael has some of the key issues that Representative Tom Cole has been focusing on as he meets with voters.
Oklahoma Representative Tom Cole has hosted a number of town halls meeting with constituents. He says one of the topics that is always brought up is the U.S.-Mexico border. Cole says that Mexico is more willing to cooperate to ease the flow of undocumented immigrants.
Most of the illegals that are coming in and staying are from the Central American countries. I think that's wearing thin on Mexico.
He also credits additional funding from the executive branch to helping secure the border.
I think the president's right to be directing additional resources down there.
Representative Cole also addressing several things happening at Tinker Air Force Base, including the mold infestation at base housing that we've been reporting on for the past year.
That it ever happened in the first place is unacceptable.
While things are improving, the congressman puts a lot of the blame on private companies hired to build the housing.
They were given wrong information. I mean, some of these companies literally lied about what was there.
It's not all bad news at Tinker. Cole says officials estimate there could be an additional 3,000 jobs heading to the base over the next 3 years.
Tinker continues to be the economic magnet that it's been really in our part of the world.
Congress goes back into session later this month. Zach Rael, KOCO 5 News.
Zach, thank you. In our State of Addiction this week, the Trump administration announced nearly $2 billion to help fight the opioid epidemic. $15 million of that will go straight to Oklahoma voters over the next 2 years.
My administration is determined to use every resource at our disposal to smash the grip of addiction.
We didn't get into this crisis overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight.
The grants are funded by money secured from Congress in 2018. The money is divided into two parts. The first is $900 million. It funds state reporting of overdoses, drug abuse, and overdose deaths. Another $932 million will go towards prevention, treatment, and recovery costs. President Trump calling off talks with the Taliban and Afghan leaders over the weekend. Trump tweeted yesterday he was set to secretly meet with the two sides at Camp David. However, the meeting failed to come to fruition. Trump pointed to an attack in Kabul Thursday where a dozen people were killed, including a U.S. soldier. Trump has been adamant about a peace deal in Afghanistan, hoping to bring home the remaining 13,000 to 14,000 troops that remain in the country. Getting help from a suicide hotline could soon be just as easy as dialing 3 digits. Right now, the FCC is in the process of approving changing the 10 current 10-digit phone numbers to 3 digits. They're doing so because they believe more people will be able to remember 988 during a crisis instead of a 1-800 number.
It is distinct needs that they need at that moment in crisis that can be best provided by a unique hotline service to assist them at that moment.
Now, according to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, Oklahoma is currently ranked 7th overall for suicide deaths. But we're one of just 2 states nationwide seeing improvements to their suicide rates. The approval for the new 3-digit number could come at any time. Of course, we'll keep you up to date if and when that happens. Well, move over stock market. A new survey reveals real estate is now at the top of the list when it comes to most popular long-term investments. KOCO's Jason Hackett tells us why it's becoming more popular.
The stock market is no longer considered America's favorite long-term investment. In fact, a new survey by the financial company Bankrate finds real estate is now king, and real estate experts say they're not surprised.
It's not sexy like some of these cryptocurrencies might be or when the stock market has a big run. But that's also why I love it. It is much more predictable than other asset classes, and you make money in several different ways.
Stocks ranked a distant second in the survey. Cash investments like a savings account finished third, followed by gold and precious metals. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies rank the lowest. If you're thinking about investing in property, experts say you should take advantage of historically low interest rates and buy a rental property. That results in tenants paying off your mortgage.
The easiest way that you could ever become a millionaire is to take out $1 million in real estate debt and let somebody else pay it off for you.
And here's another perk to investing in real estate. As the house goes up in value, rent also goes up, but your mortgage payment stays the same. All of that puts more money in your pocket. Jason Hackett, KOCO 5 News.
Good information to have, Jason. Thank you. And according to the Bankrate survey, millennials are the most drawn to real estate as a long-term investment compared to any other generation. Well, coming up, we are taking you to Wayland Bonds Elementary School for a surprise that'll warm your heart. Why the gifts given to a local janitor mean so much. Plus, helping the younger generation with their self-esteem. One man's mission to make some elementary students learn just how awesome they really are.
Pretty dry right now, but storm chances are increasing for this week. But how long will it take for that heavy rain to make it all the way to OKC?
This is a KOCO5 editorial with Brent Hensley.
Governor Kevin Stitt is going to reopen a lobbying office in Washington that was shut down 24 years ago by then Governor Frank Keating. We think he's on the right track. Lobbyists are currently under contract by several state agencies and universities to represent their interests in D.C. Close to $1 million in 2018 was paid to lobbyists by those entities. Many of them say they will continue to hire lobbyists after the office is open. We have an incredible delegation serving us in Washington. But in my experience, D.C. is all about being top of mind and creating and fostering relationships. Having another set of boots on the ground and the accountability for results makes sense. Money that is being spent by agencies in our state could be consolidated into this office, and the savings invested in projects back home. The roads we drive, school funding, and many fundamental state services are dependent on the federal government. It is a smart move to have another person working with our delegation in D.C. I'd like to hear from you. Email me at editorials@koco.com.
This has been a KOCO5 editorial.